It is the end of June. That means summertime, and that means kids are out of school, which in turn means the summer learning loss that administrators and educators are always concerned about. One local organization is doing its part to ameliorate that. It's Book Harvest. They've got a program this summer called Books on Break to give books to kids to help them read and retain knowledge over the course of the summer. The Books on Break program ends at the end of this month, but they're still looking for donations. And joining us now to say a few words about it is the founder and executive director of Book Harvest, Ginger Young. Ginger, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm really glad to be here.
So tell us about, first of all, tell us about Book Harvest, the organization in general. It's been around for a little while, and it's done a lot of great work already.
Thank you. We are 2.5 years old. I founded Book Harvest in January 2011, and I felt then, and I still feel, that we're about the simplest nonprofit you'll ever come across. We do a very simple thing. We collect new and gently used children's books, and we work hard to place them in the hands and homes of kids who need them year-round.
What was it that motivated you to found the organization in the first place?
A deep and abiding love of books as a child myself. I read constantly as a child. I was never without a book. I always had a list of books I was waiting to read. And when I looked around me recently in the past few years in our community and started reading some of the research, I realized that there's a whole lot of kids out there who don't have the luxury of growing up surrounded by books like I did. When I looked a little deeper, I found out that that's a bad thing, but it's even worse because it directly predicts whether they're going to succeed academically or not.
Yeah, not just in the next year after the summer is over, but really it's a long-term effect. So it's really important.
It's very important. A child who grows up in a home without books before they even start school is much more likely not to graduate from high school 15, 18 years later. So we know that books in the home are critical to academic success.
And so Book Harvest does a lot of different programs to get books into the hands of kids, and one of them, the one that's ongoing right now, is Books on Break. So tell me about that.
It's one that's very near and dear to my heart. Books on Break exists because all of us at Book Harvest believe that summer's a great time for a kid to lose him or herself in a book. But there are a lot of kids in our community for whom that's not an option, and we're working hard to change that. So Books on Break is, like everything we do, very simple. We run book drives throughout the year. We're always collecting book donations from our generous community. We've received 160,000 book donations in 2.5 years, so we're really stunned by our community's rallying to this cause. And then this year, for the third year in a row, we went into the schools the last week of the school year, so just earlier this month, and we set up pop-up bookstores in the media centers. We took over all the tables, every surface imaginable, placed these books all over the place, invited the kids in to select 10 books to take home and keep. They were overjoyed. That was the entire program.
That's really cool.
We know that these kids, just from watching their faces and hearing their conversations, they are going to do wonderful things with these books this summer. There's going to be a lot of magic floating around these books. What the kids may not realize is that by virtue of doing that, they are likely to show up to school in the fall much more able to pick up and resume learning where they left off on that last day of the school year this past spring.
It's that residual effect that the kids don't really understand. But I remember being in school, in elementary school in particular, and we had the RIF program up there, the Reading is Fundamental program, and there would a couple times a year they would have those book giveaways, and it was a highlight for kids who don't really read all that much. It's still a highlight to go in and get something.
Highlight. And they don't need to know how important this is to their academic success, because the truth is that what brings them into it and creates this spark and this incredible energy around these events we run is that they walk in, and I had one little boy say to me when he first walked in the media center of a school that I was at, I don't like to read. I don't really need to pick out anything. And so I was his personal shopper for about 10 minutes. And we went around and we found him a book on soccer, a book on dinosaurs. The runaway hit of the season was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We actually procured a copy of Diary of a Wimpy Kid for him. By the end of it, he had put the 10 books in his backpack, and he was so excited to go home and read them to his sister. And I felt like, this kid just rewrote how he self-identifies.
Yeah.
And so it's so good and it's so pure. And I do believe that from the feedback we've gotten from teachers, we are not able to formally track at this point, that we hope to get to that point. But it looks anecdotally like these kids are coming back to school in the fall, ready to pick up where they left off. The average, if you look at all our kids, and this is something every kid faces a really big challenge in the summer. Summer's a very precarious time for all our kids. The average amount of summer learning loss is 22% of what they learned from the prior year, which means that The teacher is not even starting to cover new material until November.
Yeah, it's all remedial up until that point, and there's so much that can be done to overcome that.
And the kids who do have enrichments in the summer, they're existing right alongside the kids who don't, and it accumulates so that after this compounds in a way that after 3 or 4 years of this gap widening, you've got kids who are a full year behind their peers, and there is no reason that needs to happen. We can fix this problem.
Yeah. And we're talking with Ginger Young, founder of Book Harvest, by the way, and the Books on Break program is a great way to do that, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. It's $17 to provide a kid with 10 books for the summer.
Exactly. Because of the generosity of our community in providing us new and gently used children's books, every child we are getting books to, it costs us $17. And that's a pretty amazing number when you think about the fact that it's 10 books in a string backpack. And, some books are new, some are gently used, but if you had to go out and buy 10 books off the shelf,
it would be a lot more than $17.
And it wouldn't happen. And so this is, they take them home from school. We do, by the way, run Books on Break all summer. We are continuing to do the book giving all summer long through programs like Read to Me Tailgate Stories, which is a marvelous program run through the Chapel of Carrboro City Schools, through Porch, which is a group we work very closely with. We could not do this without these partnerships, and Chapel of Carrboro City Schools and Durham Public Schools are two of the biggest reasons we can do this program.
And I've mentioned this a couple of times on the air before. We talk to nonprofits all the time, and every single time we do, the same couple of things always come up. Number one, the generosity of the community in just pitching in and helping out. Tens of thousands of books being donated, and you've already raised quite a bit of money already, and also the extent to which different organizations collaborate with each other.
Huge amounts of collaboration. We are nothing without our partnerships. And although we may have all the books in the world, which we don't, we always need more. The books are only going to be useful if they are going home with a child and in that child's hands and home. And so that's where we really, really depend on our partners to help us get the books to the kids. The kids always choose their own books. We need to always create the right context for them to be able to make their own selections so that what they're taking home they're excited about, which is the key to making them read. And so it's really the amount of good that is leveraged from the generosity is really going to change kids' lives and really help our community get on much more solid footing in terms of our kids meeting success academically.
Yeah. So the fundraiser drive goes on for another couple of days?
Well, it officially ends June 30th. We certainly won't turn away any money after that. But we have received enough funds from our wonderful community so far to underwrite the cost of 648 kids in Books on Break. We will, we think, reach closer to 2,000 over the entire summer through the larger triangle.
That's really cool. And we should mention that there was a matching donation in here, too.
Yes, there was. Yeah. Two friends of ours, Sarah, Emily, and John Stanley, a couple in Durham, told us early on we were hoping to reach a couple of hundred kids with this, and they said we will match every dollar up to $5,100, which is 300 kids they put up the money for when we raised enough for 300. We met that match a couple of weeks ago, and we're still going strong. We still need dollars. We still need books. There's a way for everybody in our community who believes in this cause to be involved. If you have books on your bookshelf that you're no longer reading and there's still some life left in them, we'd love to receive them. If you've got any extra dollars lying around, you want to invest in this important cause, it will be paid back through our community many, many times over.
How can people donate?
They can go to our website, www.bookharvestnc.org. There's a way to donate right on the homepage. They can also like our Facebook page, which we post updates all the time. If you're looking for volunteer opportunities, we always put the word out about that there. So those are the two big ways. We do have a physical office now for the first time in a couple of months.
So if you want to bring by hard copy books.
If you want to drop by with books or donations, we are at 2706 Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard in Durham, right in front of Google Hoof Bakery and Cafe. Look for the giant bull sculpture, the bright yellow letters that say Book Harvest right behind it, or where you want to go. We're open 10 to 4, Monday through Friday.
All right, Ginger Young, Book Harvest founder, executive director. The program is Books on Break. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.